action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to a Friday edition of TNInews Live. We're back at it with another live stream. So you may have noticed some changes this week, starting with the pre-recorded news video at the beginning of the week. Now, this week it went up on Tuesday. Normally that will go up on Mondays, but ran a little behind this week. For you action figure enthusiast channel members, had a video for you guys this week as well, and I do plan on doing more of that during the week, and then the live streams like today as warranted. So if there's enough news in the week, then you'll see that on Wednesdays and Fridays, like usual. This week overall has been pretty light on the news front, though we do have a number of things to talk about today. So we've got the snowcat Haslab that has finally reached its minimum funding goal. We've got a little bit of Marvel Legend news, McFarlane news with Mortal Kombat, and a few other things. So but this month overall, we had last month with San Diego Comic-Con. Next month and into October, we'll have New York and other conventions. So I am expecting this month, August, to be somewhat light. But again, that's kind of going forward. You're going to see more for you action figure enthusiast channel members, along with those of you who can't make the live streams, the once a week pre-recorded news video. So hopefully I'm hitting, getting everybody in with content here. That's my goal, to try and make everybody happy. Also, for me personally, I'm taking these opportunities to experiment, learn some new video editing techniques and things like that. You've noticed some new intros for the videos, things like that. So I'm also using this time to kind of broaden my own knowledge of doing this kind of stuff. So trying to have a little bit of fun. All right, before we get into today's news, let's just do a quick roll call so see who is in the house today. So we've got Austin in the house. Good to see you, my friend. We have Alonzo is in the house. Asiano, good to see you. Paul is here as well. Felix is in the house. What is up? We've got Kevin Freeze in the house. Good to see you. Mr. Allmine, good to see you. Glad you liked the intro. Natural Nate, what is up? Hanzo is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Figure Fury. Captain Dave, man, good to see you. Looks like a new name there. So it looks like we have a fairly full house starting things off. So let's delve into the news. Let's start off. So I don't have a lot on the Marvel Legend front for you guys. Well, first of all, let's start with Mondo, since this is brand new news. For you vinyl collector fans, we've got a new soft vinyl Galactus figure coming from Mondo. This goes up on the Mondo website August 12th. So they shared some new images of this. I think this was on display at San Diego, if I remember correctly. So cashing in on the new Fantastic Four movie, which, if you've seen it, Galactus had a pretty sizable role, no pun intended. But look, again, if you're into soft vinyl, this looks pretty cool. I don't have any pricing information yet on this one, but and it does come with the little Fantastic Four Baxter building, I think. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how that would scale with obviously it wouldn't really scale with 6-inch figures or anything, but still kind of cool. So again, that goes up on August 12th. So the main news I have for you on the Marvel Legend front comes in regards to reissues. We're getting reissues going up for pre-order. So already having gone up on Walmart here, and these are showing up at physical stores as well. Figures like the Spider-Man retro cardback Kraven the Hunter, James Jonah Jameson, the Rhino figure, Sandman. Cyborg Spider-Man is also supposed to be going up. It's on the website, but right now only available through secondary sellers. You have to be careful with Walmart because a lot of these will, when they sell out, revert to secondary sellers. So The Rhino was definitely in stock the other day, but now you can see $99. This is from a secondary seller. I would not recommend spending that kind of money for this figure. But I, again, Walmart, I don't know if they'll put any more available online. Again, I've heard them showing up at physical stores. Craven looks like it's still available online. J. Jonah as well. So now, besides those at Walmart, Dan Young told us the other day that, and speaking of Walmart, the Gamerverse 2-pack with War Machine and Omega Red that went up during Collector Con is available and has been shipping out to folks. So if you pre-ordered this, then you probably already gotten a mailing notice. Now, this might be regional. It's hard to tell sometimes with Walmart, but right now it is available and also hitting physical stores. So if you have a local Walmart and you want that one, you might check it out. But other figures that we can expect. So the retro Doctor Doom, Ghost Rider, and Electro. Electro went up for pre-order last week. So that one is still available, I think, pretty much everywhere. Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Amazon. But I believe next week on the 12th, we're going to see the retro Doctor Doom and Ghost Rider figure, the retro card backs of the Doctor Doom that came with the book, the Ghost Rider on the retro card back, the Johnny Blaze, not the Danny Keach one with the bike, but just the Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider on the retro card back. So those should be going up next week on the 12th. And Dan Young did not give dates, but I'm going by the Entertainment Earth Drop Zone page that looks like it's going to have 2 Hasbro reissues. So I'm guessing it'll be, again, the Doctor Doom and the Ghost Rider. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, August 12th is when you should see those. And those should be up at Amazon as well. Now, Dan Young also mentioned that possibly at some point, as a fan channel retailer, you might see a reissue of the X-Men 97 Cyclops go up as well. And then speaking of X-Men 97, Target is where you go for Wolverine and Rogue. Those went up a while back. The Wolverine is still available on Target if you want it. Rogue, I believe, is sold out. Yeah, Rogue went up a while ago and sold out. But again, you might find it at physical stores as well. So again, look for those reissues. Now, our next non-reissue Marvel Legend comes with Pulse exclusive 2-pack next week. So the first one going up should be the Rogue and Gambit 2-pack. So this again is going to be Pulse, 1 p.m. Eastern Time for premium members, 2 p.m. for everybody else. That Gambit, I believe, is reusing parts from their NBA player figures that they did a couple years ago that didn't seem to take off. But from the scene where they were playing basketball in the first season of X-Men 97. So that will be your first X-Men 97 2-pack pre-order again next week on the 14th. That'll be followed by the Wolverine and Storm 2-pack. That will be the following week. That one goes up on August 20th. I know we've gone over this multiple times. And then the last one will be the Cyclops Jean Grey. Hasbro's not yet given a date, but I think it's pretty safe to bet it'll be that final week in August. And as far as I know, that's it for Marvel Legend pre-orders this month. Again, fairly slow month compared to, most months at least. All right, let's delve over. Let's get into G.I. Joe, because finally the snowcat in its final week reached its minimum funding goal of 8,000 backers. Right now we are looking at 8,148 backers. We still have over 6 days to go. Now the big question is, will we get into any of the stretch goals? So stretch goal number 1, Lady J, that will be unlocked if it reaches 10,000. The Bivouac, Battle Station, 12,000, and Flint, 14,000. With the big boost that we always get in like the final day or so of these campaigns, I feel like Lady J is a pretty safe bet. Frostbite obviously is automatically included with the 8,000, so he's guaranteed for those who back it, that is. But Lady J, I think a pretty good chance that will get included. The Bivouac, I'm going to go 50-50 chance on that one. Flint, I think, is in the most doubt. First of all, I don't know how much of an incentive Flint is really going to be for most folks. And then, whether it's a big enough, whether we get a big enough boost to get up to 14,000 by when everything is said and done. That, again, I'm not sure. But Lady J, less than 2,000 to get to Lady J. I feel like at the very least, when we get the big boost, we'll see if it starts to pick up now that it's reached the 8,000. Sometimes people like to see if it's at least going to reach its minimum goal before they decide to back these things. So we'll see if it starts to pick up at all. But definitely in the last day or so, we usually get those big boosts. So that's when I think we will see Lady J get included. Now, speaking of Haslabs, the Star Wars Vintage Collection Haslab is still going. That one is not moving nearly as well. That one is just now, like in the last day or two, reached 3,000 backers. Currently sitting at 3,076. It does still have over a month, but it is going very slowly. So that one's 450. If you caught the pre-recorded news video, I talked about this, so I have my doubts on this one, so we'll have to see. I felt confident that the snowcat would reach its funding goal, but with this one, I'm certainly not saying it's impossible, but I feel like there is greater doubt on this one. Let us jump over to Masters of the Universe because we're talking about crowdsourcing. Yesterday, Mattel did a live stream going over, they announced it during San Diego, but for those who didn't go to San Diego, they did a live stream yesterday. Probably the newest thing that we saw in the live stream that we hadn't seen before is they gave us actual size comparisons with the previous Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain playsets. So one other thing I'm not sure they had noted before, you can actually take apart the two pieces of the Snake Lair playset and have them set a little bit apart. And then with the little rings that you see up here and placed on the playset, you can string a zip line. I don't really know if that adds that much, but technically, this thing splits apart. So, and then they have they're including a zip line for you guys. Now this is the stretch goal. This is the one stretch goal. We've got an early bird on this one, and then we've got a stretch goal. So we've got the early bird is this snake lower body for the queen. If it doesn't, and you can see the legs back there, the horse will be included as long as it reaches its minimum funding goal, which honestly, to me, this is the coolest thing about this playset. If this playset does not get funded, I hope at some point they release the horse. I guess with the figure, at least with the legs, as a separate thing. But size comparison here. Now, honestly, I'm not sure they did themselves a favor showing the sizes of these because, obviously Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain weren't nearly as expensive as the Snake Lair playset, which is $300. Now, the reason why this is more expensive, the Snake Lair is primarily more expensive. I mean, you do get the horse and the figure, so the other playsets didn't include figures, so that's part of it. But the big reason is because it's a limited edition crowdsourcing as opposed to a general retail release. They're making a lot smaller number of these playsets for the Snake Lair. So even if it reaches its minimum funding goal. So that, rule of thumb in the world of toys, the smaller the production run, the more expensive it's going to be. So that's why. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why didn't they do it as a general retail release like they did with Grayskull and Snake Mountain? Well, I'm going to probably say because retailers probably weren't that interested. Grayskull and Snake Mountain are very well known in the world of Masters of the Universe. Snake Lair is not, so it's just not going to be nearly as popular. I don't know how well those other playsets sold. I mean, I think the original Castle Grayskull, when they first put it out, when the line just started, probably did pretty well. I don't know how well the Snake Mountain did. As the line has gone on, I feel like there's been, people have started to lose interest in the Origins line. So, but Snake Lair definitely, I don't think is going to sell nearly as well as a Snake Mountain or Castle Grayskull. So that is likely why they chose to do the crowdsourcing option as opposed to trying to do a general release. Now, we talked about this before. I talked about this on Monday's video. I still, when I go back and I look at this new playset, which is very much in keeping, same style, same quality as the previous mass retail playsets, which is essentially what this is, just not being released at mass retail. But I go back and look at the one that they showed off last year at Comic-Con, and that one to me looks like just a much more nicely detailed playset. Again, I suspect the reason why they redid it was because this would have been, I'm going to guess this one would have cost like $500 if they had gone forward with this one, and they just were afraid it wasn't going to fund at that cost. I don't know if this one's going to fund at the $300 cost, but maybe down the road they can do it. Maybe they'll try and find a way to do a mass retail if it doesn't get funded, whereas that one probably would be too expensive to even remotely try and do as a mass retail. I mean, I don't know, I'm spitballing here, but I still, in my mind, I'm like, would this have done better if they had released the original one as opposed to redesigning it? I can't really answer that question. I'm not even sure I have a really good feel one way or the other. I look at the two and I'm like, if I was going to add one of these to my collection, the one that they showed off last year is the one I would have wanted to add, not this one. Speaking of Masters of the Universe, we had some new pre-orders go up today. So the new Eternia Hordak, that's actually in stock at places. So that one's been up before. But the Cobra Khan finally has gone up along with the classic Tila. So you can get these at places like Big Bad Toy Store. Tila sold out at Entertainment Earth, but I believe is still available on Amazon and Big Bad Toy Store. So Cobra Khan here is the coolest of this batch. These actually went up briefly months ago on Amazon. So I actually pre-ordered this like months ago. The Tila looks decent, though I feel like her head looks a little small. Not with the headpiece. It looks much better with the headpiece, but when she doesn't have the headpiece on, I feel like it's a little bit small. But I'm actually happy with the last Tila that they did, the kind of classic Tila from the cartoon that they did. So that one is not nearly as appealing to me. The Hordak's okay, but I'm happy with the last Hordak that they did. So the Cobra Khan to me is definitely the coolest one. But again, these officially went up for pre-order pretty much everywhere today, if those are ones that you're wanting to add to your collection. You Batman fans, so Spin Master is doing continuing their retro line of stuff. Now they did this Batmobile basically for the Flash movie, but not in this retro style packaging. I don't think it had the guns either. But this is done in the original kind of Kenner-esque packaging, smaller scale figures. Oops, I don't know how that image, that doesn't belong there. But so that Entertainment Earth is only offering the case, so I don't know why they're only offering it as a case, unless they've changed it. But Big Bad Toy Store just put it up for pre-order. Yeah, so Big Bad Entertainment Earth for some reason is only offering just the case. But if you want to just order the individual, it is available at Big Bad Toy Store for $31.99. Again, smaller scale figure. Coolest thing to me about this really is just the classic packaging. It definitely kind of hits that nostalgia spot. The original toy, packaging showed it in purple. So even though the vehicle itself is black, it just occurred to me it doesn't actually show any images of the figure inside, but I'm pretty sure you can slide open the cockpit and put the Batman figure inside there, even though they didn't give us any images that show that. And this, the retro Superman figures. Now there have been listings for more retro Batman '89 figures, including a Jack Nicholson Joker, similar to again the Superman. So, and the Superman are available at Target, but we're supposed to, at least based on listings, going to get figures like these for '89 Batman, like in the single card backs, and one of the figures should be Jack Nicholson Joker. So we'll see if that actually materializes. All right, let's get into McFarlane. So, Mortal Kombat Classic figures, the first wave of singles and the 2-pack went up for pre order. Unfortunately, McFarlane decided to make the 2-pack a Walmart exclusive, the Sub-Zero variant with the Melina. You can also get it on the McFarlane store. It hasn't sold out, so hopefully they won't cancel the order on you if you do pre-order it from Walmart. $70. Individual figures are $30, but the 2-pack is $70. You get added accessories with the 2-pack. So, but $70 is the price on these for the 2-pack, and $30 each. So that again is basically a Walmart exclusive, at least for now. Even though not a gold, I mean the whole gold label thing seems meaningless these days because McFarlane just randomly decides to only let certain retailers carry certain things. Never once at San Diego Comic-Con did they say anything about the 2-pack being exclusive to Walmart, but here we go. Now, they did tell us that the Katana figure was red platinum. Entertainment Earth had a case available, but that sold out in like 3 minutes. Liu Kang is the only one available still on Entertainment Earth, but Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon has sold out of the individuals as well. But you can still get all 3 of the non-platinum figures at Big Bad Toy Store. And then red platinum, but actually GameStop, they had it earlier. It sold out in minutes, but then they put it back. So you can actually, even though, it's a red platinum game, it's essentially right now basically a GameStop exclusive. So you'll find it at physical stores at Target and Walmart, but as far as online, GameStop is basically where you would go to buy this figure. And like I say, even though it did sell out initially this morning on GameStop in seconds, it looks like GameStop has been allocated more and put it back up. So get it while you can. But in normal fashion with the McFarlane stuff, I mean, it gets harder and harder. First of all, you don't know until last minute that something's going to end up being essentially a store exclusive. McFarlane continues to make these seemingly very limited online. So a lot of this stuff just sells out so quickly. And it's not because it's in such high demand. It's because retailers are being allocated such low quantities to put up for pre-order. And I've said this before. My feeling is What McFarlane really wants is people to go into physical stores. Walmart already has moved the McFarlane products onto the back wall, as they're getting ready to lose the DC license, so they're no longer going. Toy companies rather would be in the toy aisle with all the other toys than be on that back wall, which is the collector wall. But again, a toy company is going to rather have their products in the main toy aisle because they're going to sell more when it's there as opposed onto the back wall. And I think that's what Todd is trying to do, is like entice these big retailers to continue to carry his products even after he loses, his bread and butter with the DC stuff. Because all this started this year with this limited pre-order, online availability, red platinum, all that jazz. All that started this year after the news came out that he lost the DC license. So, I mean, that's my speculation. But every time we get these pre-orders, we go through this kind of thing. NECA. So that Walmart one is Shredder. The Universal Monster Shredder is in stock if you want that. That's the black and gold one. There's the Target one, the regular retail version, and the Walmart one. A bunch of recent stuff has gone up for pre-order at Entertainment Earth. Big Bad Toy Store had most of this stuff up already, so nothing really new there. A Toy Collector magazine revealed the next wave. They cranked these Ben Cooper figures. NECA has been like, this is like, besides Turtles, this is like their number one thing they seem to be putting out is these Ben Cooper figures. So next round is going to be the kids dressed up in Kiss costumes. This reissue of the T800 Technor Terminator figure has gone back up for pre-order. Places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Again, that's a reissue. We've got black and white Vincent Price Ultimate figure. So that is available now at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. We've gotten the regular Vincent Price before, but now we have black and white, because most of his movies were in black and white. With cigarette. So pretty cool. If you're a horror fan, that's one that you might want to check out. The Devil's Rejects Tiny and Baby Firefly figures. These went up for pre-order earlier this week. Again, available at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. It's not really a property. I don't think I've ever seen this movie, but yeah, I think that's these Munster. We talked about this before, but these Munster Ultimate figures, they're available for pre-order. I think this was one of the coolest reveals they had at San Diego. NECA did. So, Classic Munsters. New Wednesday series debuted on Netflix season 2 this week. Not much on wrestling news for you, though. Big news on actual WWE front. Next year, they're moving, leaving Peacock for their pay-per-views and going to ESPN. Seen a lot of confusion on this. What people are actually going to have to pay. I keep seeing headlines saying you're going to have to pay $30 for pay-per-views now, but making it sound like every pay-per-view you'll have to pay $30. I believe it's the ESPN service, which if you already have, like Disney Plus bundle or Hulu, or basic, I think even, cable packages with ESPN, then I don't think you really have to pay anything extra. But it's not like you're having to pay $30 a pay-per-view. Now, I will tell you, for me, like, there were a few things I watched on Peacock besides WWE pay-per-views. So there's absolutely nothing on ESPN. I mean, I have ESPN as part of my Hulu package, so I believe I should continue to have access to WWE pay-per-views. But like, if I have to go subscribe to a ESPN only streaming service on top of like Hulu and such, I probably would just pass on WWE pay-per-views. Because there's nothing I ever watch hardly on, occasionally a college basketball game or something, but I don't really watch ESPN that much these days. Maybe football occasionally. I don't watch college football, but pro football game occasionally. But let's see what else. Sectars. These were from nacelle companies. These were announced during Comic-Con. These are available. They had been available on the nacelle website, but now you can get them through Big Bad Toy Store. Light up eyes. So, you Sectar fans, which is not something I ever got into as a kid, but Boss Fight Studio has new Court of the Dead 112 figures. This is their second wave. These are available for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. So look pretty cool overall. I don't know if the first wave is actually shipped yet, but for you Storm Collectible fans, the King of Fighters figure, the new Nickiato, is you say his name? Oh. But he is a new 112 figure from Storm Collectibles, a part of the Storm Arena line. So this is up at Big Bad Toy Store now. $30, not including tariff surcharges, but I never really got into King of Fighters, so it comes with multiple heads, hands, electric effects, and the stand. So again, that's available at Big Bad Toy Store. Here's a look at the packaging for the new Scooby-Doo figures from Jada Toys. So this is the first wave. The Mummy, the Creeper, and Shaggy. These have been up for pre-order for a little while. For you Hot Toy fans, we've got a new Killing Joke Joker, comic book based Joker figure. This is available, went up yesterday at Big Bad Toy Store. So we see Hot Toys doing more comic oriented comic figures for Marvel and DC, not just movie stuff anymore. Recreate that classic cover in the Killing Joke. Pretty nicely detailed there. Soft goods outfit. A gun with a click, click, click flag that you can stick in. Cards, of course, Joker cards. Little keen thing, whatever you call that. So again, if you're into Hot Toys, available for pre-order now. Price is $289. Again, could be a little bit more with tariff charges, but so McFarlane also getting into the indie comic world. Ripperverse is an indie comic, and going to be doing several figures from this indie comic universe. This is the first one that they're doing, available on the Ripperverse website. So I don't think these are going to be available outside of that website. But these are from McFarlane Toys. So Isam, I've never read these comics, so I'm not really familiar with this character. But again, most notable thing here is these are actually figures from McFarlane Toys. Whether we see McFarlane start doing more indie comic characters, that could be something interesting to watch out for. But again, this one's a pre-order on the Ripperverse website. So that, I think, catches us up. Again, August overall, fairly light month for news. Pre-orders as well, honestly. I think things will start to pick up next month. These Target exclusives are supposed to be hitting physical stores in August. So that's both the Miracle and the Sandman figure. They've been available on EB Games and Amazon Canada for some time. But again, according to McFarlane Toys, these will be hitting physical stores uh, this October. Some new figures. So the Snake Eyes with Polar Bear mass device. This version 4 Snake Eyes. These have started to ship from Amazon. I think Big Bad Toy Store also has at least the Snake Eyes with Polar Bear in stock. The She-Hulk has started coming in stock at places. The Fantastic Four She-Hulk. Thunderbolt 2-packs have started showing up at stores. I don't think they've started shipping anywhere yet, but I have seen people finding now. I'm not sure if it was Target or Walmart. I think it was Target, but the two Thunderbolt movie 2-packs. Not sure what that is. Pretty quiet on the Star Wars front. Same with Transformers. Hasn't been a lot of news. This new missing link, Nemesis Prime, has gone up for pre-order. You can get it at places like Big Bad Toy Store. So this is a repaint of the missing link regular Optimus Prime, only in Nemesis colors with the Decepticon symbol on the trailer. So G1 style toy with some added, a little bit of added articulation and stuff. So I guess I believe that's a pre-order. Went up earlier this week. So, Mafex Nightfall Batman reissue available. If you're into Mafex, you might want to check that one out. Huh. I swear it went up at Big Bad Toy Store. I'm just going to do a search. Yeah, here it is. $140. Again, not counting tariff charges because this is coming from Takara Tommy. So, all right. So that catches you guys. That should catch you guys up on the news front. Chris Allen, what's up? Everett's in the house. Figure Fury. Happy birthday, Everett. Yes. Happy birthday, Everett. Don't see it. People complained about $90 for the Fright Zone. Yeah. I mean, and that gray skull that they reissued, repainted with the matte on Amazon, that was $100. But I think they got their work cut out. I won't say I never underestimate, what a small group of fans are willing to do or buy if they want something. But I definitely, by no means think, both the Republic gunship and that Snake Lair playset, I think, those companies are going to have their work cut out for them for getting those funded. Cobra Khan looks sweet. Chris likes Hordak. Captain still hasn't seen those retro Superman figures at his Target. Greetings from Ireland, John. Oceano says he saw the Superman figures on the end cap at his Target. Jay the Grind. I don't collect McFarlane, but I will collect this line. I decided. I mean, this morning when the katana sold out like instantly originally, I was like, you know what? I'm not getting this line. I'm not going to jump through all these hoops. I'm not going to hunt around at physical stores trying to get these figures. It seems to me that like the female figures are either going to be released in 2-packs or as like exclusives. So I was like, yeah, screw it. At least it would have been nice if the katana was readily available everywhere, but at least, it is seemingly somewhat easy to get through GameStop. And even the 2-pack at Walmart hasn't sold out, assuming Walmart doesn't cancel orders on people later on. So maybe I'll check the line out. I don't know. I'm just the hoops that McFarlane seems to make people jump through more and more to buy things online. Just to me has soured soured me on McFarlane figures in general. Chris says, thank goodness Mattel gets the DC license next year. The availability of McFarlane figures is terrible. CJ Prime says, I'm doing a video game stuff, but McFarlane Mortal Kombat is 7-inch and isn't going to fit in with my Jada Storm Arena. even game-themed Marvel Legends, and I want the Mario and Luigi for SH Figuarts. That went up for pre-order. You can get that on Amazon and Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. Those SH Figures, Mario figures. Those are reissues, I think, though. Captain says the monsters are tempting. Frankie says super pumped for Rhino and JJ at Walmart, and my Dragon Man and 2 Savage 3-packs arrived. Nice. Yeah, I got my Savage Land 3-pack yesterday. Thanks to Toy Newman, who got me one through premium membership, because I wouldn't have gotten it because it didn't last the first hour or so. Rule says would like to see Retro Cardback Kingpin reissued. See, I thought we were going to get reissues of the Cable and the Anniversary Wolverine and the Power Princess Wonder Woman wannabe from Squadron Supreme. I thought those were going to be reissued, but doesn't look like it. Frankie says got charged for his crystal ball. I'll need to check my order. I'm going to be, if they cancel my crystal ball, I'm going to be pissed. And my San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Street Fighter figures from Jada Toys are supposed to arrive today. Will Jada Toys make a mystery machine? I think it's all going to depend on how well the figures sell. If they see enough demand for those figures, then I would say yes. The big question is, will there be enough demand? Anima says Mondo is supposed to put their soft vinyl Slash up for pre-order this month. Rose says his wallet needs a break. Chris loves the missing link line. If Hasbro wasn't doing such great things with like the 86 Studio Series stuff, the missing link stuff would probably appeal to me more, but there's only so much stuff I can buy. So I keep my Transformer focus on the Studio Series stuff. Chris says Masters of the Universe fans are pretty passionate. I mean, you're right. That's why I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, that campaign's not going to fund, because it's just over 3,000, or it hasn't even gotten to 3,000 yet. You know, you could see, you know, these campaigns are known for having like these huge bumps. Like we're almost like 90% of the campaign funds in the last couple of days. I mean, I've seen that before with some of these. So you just never can tell whether something's going to fund or not. I definitely think it leaves you. I mean, I've been sitting around waiting for the snow. I was surprised it took as long as it did for the snowcat to reach that minimum goal. I was expecting it to fund, you know, on or maybe shortly after San Diego, but here we are in the last week and it finally funded. So, and again, I'm not going to say we're not going to get those stretch goals, because we could get the remaining needed in the last day or so. So that's just kind of how these things go. Hey, Rich. Yeah, we already talked about that, but yeah, Big Bad Toy Store has the individual retro Batmobile. Glenn says mystery machine would be cool. Now, here's my thing. Will Jada do a straight up release, or will it be some type of crowdsourcing thing? Because Jada has not yet dipped their toes in the crowdsourcing thing yet, I don't think. But I'm not sure they'd be able to get a mystery machine out at regular retail. So I don't know how they would handle that if they decided to do one. But I would not expect it to be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jada figures are not outrageously expensive, so I don't know. It'll be interesting. If it's a general release, then it would be much cheaper than if it's crowdsourcing or very limited, like on Jada toy exclusive. But again, it's going to come down to how well those figures sell. And I gotta be honest. I know there are people who are excited for the Scooby Doo figures, but like I feel like it's like some people seem just interested in the monsters. Some people just seem interested in the core characters. I feel like they all would have to sell for them to go, you know what? There's enough demand to do a mystery machine. Now, I think I said this before, but I could definitely see Ramen Toys taking their van and doing a knockoff mystery machine if they see demand, for people wanting one for their Jada figure. So even if Jada doesn't do one, maybe some other company will do like a third party knockoff version. Oceano, and Cold Slit, is it available again? Because I noticed it had sold out again. I'm just looking on the Hasbro Pulse website to see. It is. It is available once again. So if you still need the Cold Slither box set or still want it, I don't know if anyone really needs it, but if you want it, it is once again available. And remember, if you're buying something on Hasbro Pulse, you're better to use the PayPal option for payment. Everyone seems to run into problems when they try and use credit card payment. So PayPal definitely seems to be the. I don't know if they've addressed that in any way, but the Marvel Legend one, of course, is sold out. Now says the Scooby figures make me wish I grabbed those 66 Batman figures to go with them. I remember those crossovers, Batman and Scooby Doo back in the day. Of course, you could still get the Super Friend ones. Those would probably work pretty well. Oceano says it's been most. Yeah, I mean, when I record the news video, the pre-recorded news video earlier this week, it was in stock. But then I recorded that video on Monday, but I didn't get it posted till Tuesday. And then when I saw on Tuesday when I had uploaded it and I had said it was in stock in the video, I saw it was sold out again. But I guess they at some point after Tuesday they put it back in stock again. I don't know why they put it in, why it like goes in and out. Like I can understand like if they get a few cancellations, but I don't know why that happens so often. Yeah, the two Disney sets, the Star Wars and the Marvel, were the most popular, and at most, like, I've seen people, oh, it's back in stock, and it lasts for like 2 seconds. I don't know how many times I've seen somebody post, oh, the Marvel Legends set's back in stock. Like, you'll see them have posted it like 3 minutes ago, and you click on the link and it's sold out. So, all right, well, we're coming up on the hour. So, again, Monday, if all goes well, I'll have up the pre-recorded video, which a lot of that video will be just covering the stuff we just talked about today. Um, anything that might happen between now and Monday, I'll squeeze in there. But for the most part, that's really for those of you who aren't able to catch these middle of the day live streams and you don't want to sit and listen through a pre-recorded live stream. But that video should be up on Monday. And then, like I said, I'm going to focus on getting additional content for you action figure enthusiast channel members. Had the my comparison between the Toy Biz and the new Hasbro Dragon Man Marvel Legend figure I posted, was it yesterday? So, and I know, if you haven't watched that video, you're probably saying, oh yeah, Hasbro wins hands down. And yes, Hasbro wins, but when you look at that Toy Biz Dragon Man figure, the detail and the sculpting detail and the paint applications on that figure are just, like, even by today's standards, are incredible. The biggest downside to the Toy Biz Dragon Man is it's smaller, and then it's not really based on the comics. So the Hasbro one definitely is much more comic book accurate. It's bigger, better articulation too. So Hasbro definitely wins on all those categories. But when you're talking about just sculpting detail and paint applications, if you really look at that Toy Biz one, it really, and I mean, that's not unusual. Usually when you go back and you look at old Toy Biz Marvel Legend figures, the paint applications are usually better than Hasbro ones. It was just cheaper to give that kind of detail on a figure back then than it is today. But yeah, it's not just like clear cut, because that Dragon Man figure that Toy Biz did was really nice for its time. And so that was this week's video, just for you guys who are action figure enthusiast members. And again, I'm going to be doing more content, and feel free to give you guys input on what you would like to see more of too. Because I'm always open to ideas to expand the content here as much as possible. So, and if you haven't become an action figure enthusiast member, it's just 99 cents. That little extra mile, just, as I see, as like a thank you. And there's a video link there's a link in the description for how to do that if you haven't already. All right, so we're going to leave it there for today. Again, I don't know what to expect for news next week, so I don't know if we'll have 1 or 2 live streams next week. We'll play that by ear. But stay safe out there. Have a great weekend. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to toynewseye.com, marvelousnews.com, jediinsider.com, and tformers.com. And remember, action figures are great,